friends, invite your not so friendly friends, your frenemies. Yes, tell them that Mayegun today, and I have come with loads of gists, the good, the bad, the ugly, coming from the contraption called Nigeria, a place where people are, they are like striving to make lies become truth. And there is no amount of repetition you give to a lie. It will never be the truth. And because of this, we still have the gullible ones, who are those who believes whatever APC, Egbekegbe tells them. These are the people that we cannot redeem, irredeemable lots. But to those of you who are looking for answers, who have endless questions to ask about this contraption, Mayegun's Diary Politico is a place where you are going to get the answer. Sometimes it may not be the answer you are expecting, but it's going to be the truth that is likely going to set you free if you choose to. Because in Nigeria today, we have odds of voluntary slaves, those who have turned themselves into willing tools, the enablers of the bad behavior in that contraption. So, listen, if you are new on Mayegun's Diary Political, the ideal thing is for you to kind of be a little bit at home. Then you must be somebody who is not a closet Buhari idiot, a Sai barbarian, a bastard, or a bat idiot. Don't be one of those Lagos Abobakus or Oshogbo Alimajiris, the voluntary slaves, the ombud slaves. These are people who are like willing tools in the hands of the lying Akwayon People's Congress, Al-Qaeda People's Congress, APC, Egbekegbe. But if you are one of them, also, I do advise the Ronukus, the Ronu Nazis, the Ronu bandits on Mayegun's Diary Political to stop watching me. Because me, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So, for your own mental health, don't watch Mayegun. Don't. Because there's something that is very clear, which some of you don't like to admit. And that is, I do not like anything that has to do with Tifnumbu, APC, and all their cohort. I do not like anything about them, okay? And they don't like me too. It's just that they are hypocrites. Sometimes they want to pretend. You know what I mean? Like, they want to pretend and ask me to be fair. You can't be fair with murderers. You can't be fair with criminals. You can't be fair with a set of, dream killers and their voluntary slaves. Don't be fair to them. On Mayegun's Diary Political, there is nothing fair when it concerns the APC. Egbekegbe, just for clarity. They said that Nigeria is safe, according to these guys, and they kept repeating that, hoping that that will make it true. But it can't make it true. You know what I mean? You cannot be doing what is called the catch and release arrangement with terrorists. And the same terrorists are making a kill, kidnapping your own citizens, killing them, slaughtering them at will, billing them. They're even taxing them at will. And then whenever you capture any of them, then you have a program called Operation Safe Corridor, where you can easily release them back into the wild. Okay, because once they swear by the Holy Quran that they will not do it again, then that's it. All the atrocities they've committed, all the killings they have done, all the kidnappings, all the raping, and all of that, the ethnic cleansing, so to say, that they have committed, right, can be forgiven once they hold the Quran and say they won't do it again. So that is called catch and release. So no matter how many times you repeat the lies of the end of the terrorism in that contraption, it will make it stop. So yesterday, the ISWAP, which have now come out to claim responsibility, they attacked a military base in Borno, where they slaughtered as many soldiers as they could see on site. And then they burned down all the vehicles, the military vehicles, armored personnel carriers. They burned down about 6 armored personnel carriers, APC, you know those things they used in that war. They burned down about 6 of them, military vehicles, buildings, and all that. And then when they were done, the bodies of Nigerian soldiers littered the entire compound. I don't know if you have seen it, but viewers' discretion is kind of advised at this stage. So we're starting with that this evening.
This is our home store. This is our home store. Thank God for life. These people burn everything in this camp. Ya Rasulullah Mazallah. Ya Rasulullah Mazallah. Alhamdulillah for life. Thank God for life. Thank God for life. God, we don't even know. Maybe we have casualty for now. But all our people that entered bush, they are coming back one. Allah continue to guide and protect us.
Sawa menu, sawa soldier. Almost 6 soldier or 7 soldier now. The key for you. Sawa menu. 21 the key 121.
So the terrorists, in their usual way, they targeted the military post. There is no intelligence report to warn them of the impending attack, because they are treating terrorists in northern part of Nigeria as their brothers. They have the Nigerian army, like they did with the Lakurawas, the Lakurawa terrorists, which is believed to be funded by France and the Netifnumbu's regime as well, according to this Nigerian leader. Okay, the Lakurawas that were arrested by the Nigerian government confessed to the warm welcome and then sort of, you know, a bit of a waiver they gave to them, Nigerian military gave to them in Nigeria. And what was that? Just recently, when this Lakurawa of a thing became public, the chief of defense staff, Christopher Musa from Southern Kaduna, that guy came out and said the Lakurawas were not seen as a threat. They said they were peaceful terrorists. Okay, so Lakurawas that are actually, they are actual, you know, hardened terrorists as well. Since 2018, Nigerian military, the Nigerian intelligence community, gave them a waiver. They called them friendly terrorists, friendly, until recently, when they now claim that they are now going after the Lakurawas, because the Lakurawas have started their ransacking villages, kidnapping people, raping women and children, and converting some areas to ungoverned areas that are part of Nigeria today. They have many of these communities in the hands of different sets of terrorists in northern Nigeria. Nigeria have places called ungoverned areas. Ungoverned areas means there is no presence of Nigeria or government or any of their agents in those communities, and they are within the 12 Sharia states of northern Nigeria. This is like in-house arrangements, okay? That the military, they are willing to come out and defend them in such a way that I have never seen before, okay? Intelligence report is to tell you if you have, for example, if you have an intel for the gathering of a terrorist in any part of northern Nigeria, which is the reason why you actually have, you call the place the theater of war, okay? Where you are supposed to have different kind of agents, those who are clothed and those who are not, all right? Plain clothes, you know, intelligence, agents who are supposed to kind of prevent or report an impending attack before they happen. But in northern part of Nigeria, that is not the case. A lady was arrested. Well, yeah, you know, there's this other report where a lady or like women are being used to move weapons like, you know, bullets and all that by the terrorists, different kind of terrorists. So in northern part of Nigeria, including the Nigerian, bordering the Lake Chad, where you have all these Sahel states as well. So Nigeria has no border. In northern part of Nigeria, there is no border there at all, except just a demarcation, just something to say this is where Nigeria ends, and this is where Cameroon starts. This is where Niger Republic starts. This is, what I mean? Like, there is no border. It's just like walk in, walk out. The terrorists walks in, they walk out. So they make the entire border of Nigeria, in northern part of Nigeria, they make it like their base. They can attack Niger Republic from there. They can attack Nigeria. They can attack, ravage communities, villages in Nigeria, and then go back to the Lake Chad. That way, that's how they have been operating for decades. So they have areas where Nigerians are paying taxes to terrorists in that same northern part of Nigeria. And they have been like that for more than 7 years now. Ungoverned areas in Nigeria. You see, those who are Nigerians, they're those who have nowhere to run to. Majority of the inhabitants of the areas, right? Majority of them have moved far away to another place that they consider safe, but they are called the IDP camp, refugee camps. Those are the survivors of all those attacks. Those who couldn't move, they stayed back, and they are forced to cough out hundreds of millions of naira, if not billions of naira, as taxes. So for them to plant, for them to cultivate the land, to grow their food, they have to pay taxes to these terrorists. I'm talking about terrorists that are actually living there. These are not it's not as if to say, oh, they threaten them, okay, and they run into the bush. No. The terrorists are living in those communities as heads of those communities in Nigeria as we speak. But they've succeeded in making it pretty much like a non-issue for some of you in Nigeria by playing it down. Terrorists have claimed lands, territories in Nigeria, and it's been in existence now for over 7 years. Okay, so they initially had the Boko Haram. Then the Boko Haram splitted into two. So they became ISWAP. Then ISWAP also splitted into two. They became ISWAP 1, ISWAP 2. Then the Fulani terrorists also came, who also claim, they also claimed there's some territories for themselves, from Nasarawa to Zamfara, from Zamfara to Katsina, to part of Kaduna, to Sokoto, where Sokoto is controlled by the Lakurawa terrorists. When it comes to the ISWAP, Boko Haram, and then they control Borno straight to the Lake Chad, to the border and the rest of that. And the Nigerian army, who majority of them have been posted there to they call them the war front or something like that, to the front. Apart from the fact that they are poorly paid, right? They are pretty much existing in something like in a blank. Okay, there's no intelligence report, any reliable intelligence report per se, and there's been so much compromise within the same Nigerian army, where repentant terrorists are being readmitted into the Nigerian army, given different names under different operations, mixing them up with the soldiers. So then you have the Air Force. The Air Force, who are supposed to also be a little bit above board. The entire system has become so compromised that you will hear the accidental bombing of civilians by the Nigerian Air Force. A situation whereby whenever the terrorist attacks, the evidence is splashed all over the internet, all over the social media. Or the Nigerian military or their head, they are more interested in pushing propaganda, fear, threats, especially threats against the citizens who speaks out against them. They will push threats. But when they claim to have killed terrorists, we never really see the evidence, but they are running it with propaganda. They will tell themselves that they have done so well. Everything is fine now, blah, 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 blah. You know, the saddest part as well is this. There has been so many Nigerian soldiers killed by these terrorists that their family members still believed that they are still alive, but they are dead already. Yeah, I mean, it may be shocking to you, but it shouldn't be shocking to those who have been following the development in that place for years now. Yeah, they've had a situation whereby people or families still believes that they have no, I mean, they believe that their relatives are still alive. Meanwhile, they are dead years now. They haven't heard from them. The excuse then is just to say, well, they have been busy and they are still fighting Boko Haram. They are, you know, it is so bad enough that if the terrorists themselves did not actually splash out the videos, the pictures of what they did in Borno State, they could have cooked up another lie to cover it up while lives are lost. Now, right now, the only report we heard is that about 8 soldiers were killed. And this is just because of the amateur video made and released, the one I shared with you earlier. We have no idea. We have no name. See, how can you be a soldier, for example, if any soldier, or as they call it in America, any Marine dies anywhere, whether he dies in America, in service, or he died outside America, a Marine that dies, you will get to know the name. You will get to see the level, the honor they will give to that, the body of that Marine, that you will feel like he died for his country. In Nigeria, have you seen where they packed dead bodies, dead soldiers together before? Have you seen how, then the fact that they can't even give them the honor by naming them, for people to actually get to, you know, to picture their faces and say, oh my God, look at this and look at that. And rather, they will do everything to cover it up or downplay it, except when they want to make a political theater out of it. Like when the, the oil bunkers in Niger Delta clashed with Nigerian soldiers, and then they killed 14 of them in that creek, only for the Nigerian army to wage war against a community of civilians, burn down the entire community, Okwama community, if you remember that. But to justify that, to make it look like you don't touch a soldier, you don't ever kill a soldier, they had to give them this national barrier that was televised. But go and take a look at all the soldiers they are killing every day in northern part of Nigeria. They are just being killed like they are just piece of animal. They are just like animal, useless or worthless animals. You will never even see their faces in the media. You will never see their names. You will never, nothing to make you feel like you're actually a soldier who died for your country. So if you die for Nigeria, you die wrongfully. So a lady was captured. They said they usually send women to help them mobilize their ammunition. Okay, and here is one of them.
Don't worry yourself. We're going to head quarters. Commander. Snapper. Snapper more. Kai dan iska ne. Kaga wannan koya wannan dan iska ne. Ba video. I'll start now. Har mu kula mashin haka na zamu kai zuwa headquarter har da kai. Daga wani gari kika fito yanzu? Nan ne da yammacin Abuka. Kana ji? Yammacin ku zuwa. Kana ji? Zaka bi mu zamu je headquarter tare da kai. Anka? Daga anka kike zo? Daga anka kike zo da kayan? Daga anka gaba daya. Okay, an aike ki daga anka.
Where carry on they go?
Daga anka? Ina miki magana.
Daga nan ne na je anka.
To da kosu da kanki. Okay, tsaya ina zuwa. Tsaya nan. Okay, daga anka, tsaya mana. Daga anka ne aka baki wannan?
Daga nan ne aka.
Okay, an baki anan ki kai anka.
A'a, daga can anka ne aka.
Okay, an baki a can a anka. Ki kawo nan. Waya baki a anka?
Ba san sunan shi ba.
Shi wani yare ne wanda ya baki?
Bahaushe ne. Bahaushe ne, ban taba ganin huska shi ba, yau ɗaya na yari zuwa.
Ke ya sunanki?
Na ce Shamsiya.
Shamsiya. Kina da aure? Yawa. Bro. Ya sunan mijinki? Ka gani ko? Ka ga ra'ayi shi ne da maka. Ai nake aure zama auren.
Nan da kwarawa.
Sidai siyan ba. Yanzu nan wannan wani kika saukin san yawan su anan?
Wallahi ban taba sanin yawan su ba.
So nawa kina irin wannan abun?
Ban ma taba ganin.
Sami Bila say God don't give you the vision. So nawa kina irin wannan? God don't give you the vision. Mayu.
Ban taba ba sai.
Don't ce wace. Okay, inspector. Sa hannunki ki dauko mu gani. Kin san wannan yanzu yana kashe mutum ko bai kashe mutum?
Wallahi ni da an tura ni au an so
Ki dena
kuma
na
na san yana
to daga ina aka tura ki?
daga nan ne aka tura ni.
Aka ce ki je ki karbo.
An ce na je an so sa.
To me yasa ke kin san sakon da Borno?
Wallahi ban sani.
So nawa kina irin wannan yanzu?
Wallahi
Ku so mana.
ban yi ba.
Now this for this man. Kana ga nawa za su je? Ka fa bana ina Mustafa ne ma. Yawa Mustafa ya bare. Ina zuwa. Kai sai this man an baki magana san ci ubanki.
Na ce ban taba yi ba.
Wannan shi ne na farko ko na biyu?
Shi ne na farko.
Kin siya sunanki?
Na ce Shamsiya.
Some people they with this woman where they pass this woman. You don't know. Ina Samaila. Abin da nake so gane su. Kin san cewa wannan kashe mutum ko sani ba?
Na san cewa na kashe mutum.
Dama za mu zo yi kwata kana na kin san ko menene ne? Kin san ko menene?
Wallahi ban san ko menene.
Ka san me yasa gane ki? Ka kalli ka. A irin kina san cewa baki da. Wallahi zan ci ubanki.
Saboda an taba yi ba shi ya sa
kabar shi nace kabar.
Na ce saboda ban taba yi ba shi ya sa na kalle na kalle na
suwaye suka irin wannan wanda ke san sa wanda yake yi ba
idan na ce na san wanda yake yi na
suna da za ki ji daɗi a kashe ƴaƴan
ba na so a kashe su wani da na san a haka ne ba zai
a kin sani ai abin da yasa na gane ke kin sani kin sani dama no aka ce za baki da kono
Wallahi na anka. Because of the religion, under the cover of a religion in northern part of Nigeria, women are not meant to be searched. Do you understand? Because of the way they dress and the religion itself. So the terrorists, they make use of them in moving some of their petty weapons. Most of the time, when the terrorists attack military base or military posts, they usually do so under their own intelligence report that that particular place, that particular place has some weaponry that they can take, okay? And therefore, when they are coming with some dreaded, like, force. Or the real ammunitions that these terrorists are using is believed to be supplied by those that are taking all the mineral resources that they are illegally mining in some of the areas where the terrorism actually thrives. Okay? So we have come to establish the fact that if you pay attention to the areas where the terrorists, whether the Fulani terrorists or Lakurawa or ISWAP or Boko Haram, the areas where the terrorism is very strong, they are areas that are, strongly guided by these terrorists. They are areas where mineral resources, are pretty much well deposited. So these are areas where they are doing illegal minings. And the only way they can get control over those mining sites is to, number one, chase away the real owners of the communities, kill as many of them as possible, then chase the rest of them away. So those who usually come in to drop weapons for them, they drop weapons for them in exchange for the mineral resources they are mining from these areas. There has been evidence of that. And that is why when the Nigerian army or Nigerian DSS or this, including your NSA, when they claim that terrorism can never end, it can only be managed, then you can see their culpability. You can see their own collusion. It was one of, what's this man's name again? Danjuma, who told us then that as a retired chief of defense staff himself, Minister of Defense, Danjuma said that from his own intel, the hills of Taraba, and then the mountain or what have you of the Benue, and all this middle belt parts of Nigeria that the Fulani terrorists and other terrorists are clamoring to overrun, that they are being kind of supported or guided by the top hierarchy of the Nigerian army. Nobody did anything to that man, but he said it openly. He said they collude, because none of these terrorists or terror group could have lasted this long without the collaboration or the collusion of those who are supposed to be in the military of Nigeria, the intelligence community, as well as the government of Nigeria. They couldn't have lasted this long without their cooperation or their guide or what have you. So, Northern Nigeria is a place where the life of their people, as well as the life of Nigerians, doesn't really matter to these bloodthirsty criminals that they call political leaders. What I